Oh, hello. In this video, I'll be asking a question. Are Cadian Karskin coming for Kill Team after the Morok box that we already know about? Now, I know some of you are going to be face-palming now and going, "Oh, Phil, why are we rumoring about the next box? We haven't even got the currently advertised Morok box in hand yet, or the previews haven't come out for it yet. Why are we worrying about the next box down the line?" Well, I'll tell you for why. Um, because we've got some new information. So the rumor engine has been around for ages, this arm holding an Auspex, which everybody agrees, definitely tells us that Karskin are coming. And people in my comment section under the videos for the last couple of times I've done a what's coming in the next box video have said, oh, it's Karskin are coming. And I've always agreed with them that Karskin are definitely coming for 40k, but whether or not they're coming for Kill Team has always been a bit of a leap. And the reason I've dismissed that in the past is because I didn't think that they would do two teams for the same 40k codex. But now that we know that the Bloodied are coming, it lends a little bit more credence to the idea that we might get Karskin to sit alongside the Renegade, the Heretic Astartes and the Renegade Guard. So, we've got these two things here, and then we've got the Karskin and the Veteran Guardsman. We've got multiple teams coming for the same 40k codex. That's pretty interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the very end of the presentation. But for now, I also want to touch on a video that Auspex Tactics put out. So he's kind of, I've mentioned him before on the channel, he's a 40k rather than a Kill Team YouTuber. But he is the inspiration for my format. He has proven that people will enjoy a PowerPoint presentation that's narrated. So that's I owe a little bit to him for that. But he's put out a video recently about Imperial Guard leaks. Now, the premise of this video is that he and a couple of other content creators have seen a leaked image for 40k of all the Imperial Guard releases. Now, he hasn't posted that image. He's been asked not to post it because he and a couple of the other content creators who've been shown it, unofficially I add, this is a genuine leak, they worry that if they show the image, it will allow the Games Workshop management people to identify who has taken the picture, and that person might get into trouble. So I'm implied then is that they're either a playtester or an employee of Games Workshop. Now, if you're interested in 40k and all the things that Auspex is rumouring for the Imperial Guard, then I'd invite you to go and watch his video. I'm not really here to steal his content, just to pick up on one detail that he mentioned that I've then gone off and done my own thought about, and kind of I'm going to explore the significance of a little bit. So one of the things he saw in this image was a new plastic Karskin. Now, this isn't surprising to me because we know the Karskin are coming because of the rumour engine. But he said that the Karskin are based on very different bases. He described them as pure black and speculated that they represent something like a spaceship hull. And he goes on to talk about how this could imply that they're going to be a Kill Team release because maybe the heavy metal team have only painted up one squad of the Karskin, and so in the 40k codex where this picture he's seen is leaking from, they're alongside all the rest of the Cadian releases that are on the normal kind of brown bases with tufts. That's what he says, and the Karskin really stand out for being on these pure black bases. So obviously that sets wheels turning in my head. You've heard me rumouring and thinking for a while that they're going to bring back corridors to Kill Team and the spaceship box, the terrain from Rogue Trader, partly because they're running out of old terrain sets to reuse. And this really struck a chord with me because it ties in with those previous thoughts that I'd had. So let's have some speculation about what the next Kill Team box could look like. So the first option that I'm thinking about is what if it's Karskin versus the Leagues of Votan in some kind of spaceship terrain. Now, this would be two all-new plastic teams in one box, which, if you watch my previous video, What Happens Now? Kill Team has run out of road, I think we could see a change to how they support Kill Team. So rather than getting a new box every quarter, with one brand new team, one kind of upcycled team, and some upcycled terrain, maybe we're going to get one all singing, all dancing box in the style of Warcry's Catacombs box, where it's new terrain, two brand new teams, a reissue of the rulebook. I'm not saying there's going to be a new edition of Kill Team like the Catacombs box. I'm thinking there's going to be a reissue of the rulebook, maybe just with the rules for fighting in corridors put into the back of the book. But that would be, essentially, it would be Actarius 2.0. It wouldn't be Kill Team 21 2.0. I'm not saying they're going to change the game in a meaningful way, but I'm saying they could give us a new iteration on the launch box experience for the second year of release. I think that is a possibility. Now, I don't know how well, in my mind, the Karskin and the Leagues of Votann thematically fits, because so one way of thinking, it kind of feels like blue on blue. I know the Votann aren't Imperial, they're their own Xenos race, but they are two races that are both kind of coded as being reasonably good. Neither of them are kind of evil, bestial, unthinking slaughter machines. Well, arguably the Imperial Guard are unthinking slaughter machines if you really want to get into it, but you know what I mean? The way Games Workshop usually presents these things is they give us one kind of really antagonistic Chaos or Xenos race and versus an Imperial race or one of the sort of more sapient Xenos races. Now, they've broken that pattern before in Kill Team. I would have said that the Chalnath box, where it was Tau versus Sisters of Battle, that's also not a box that I would have predicted. So for that reason, I think that this could happen. Why am I thinking it could come in with spaceship terrain? Well, it goes back again, and I've said this before, to the fact that we had that Leagues of Votann trailer, which was the squat arriving on the derelict spaceship. So I kind of think they're thinking about spaceships and corridors alongside the Leagues of Votann. So that's one possibility, but it's not the only idea that I've had. So the second option, and this is becoming a bit of a channel meme, is Groundhog Day again. They could bring back the Galafox Infected and the Rogue Trader terrain. So everything I'm not going to labour the points on this one because I've said this so many times before. There's difficulty with demons in that I don't think that they can do a bespoke demons team that is taking one of the current 5 teams and making it into a thing, because people will get upset if they did a demonette team. People that love Bloodletters would get upset. They can't do a team that mixes all the types of demons would be great for White Dwarf, but once we're in a box, I think they're going to have to do something off the wall and different. If they recycled the Galapox sprues alongside the all-new Karskin, that would fit the mould of the current roadmap, if they're going to continue on with that and give us sort of a recycled team and a brand new team and recycled terrain. And they could recycle the Rogue Trader terrain set, the really nice board, and then the doors. I don't know if people... All across this video, I'm going to be suggesting terrain sets that have less plastic in them than we're used to. I don't know if people would, or some people will be like, that's a rip-off. Personally, I'm like now drowning in, I've got my Actarius terrain, I've got my Sector Mechanicum terrain, I've got the other Sector Mechanicum terrain that I already had from collecting it in 40k, I've got the terrain from the Chalnath box that I haven't built yet, and I'm definitely going to buy Morok and get even more bits of chunky terrain. I don't know if I need another big set of chunky plastic, so I would quite welcome this kind of smaller thing as someone that's collecting all the boxes, right? But other people might see it as a rip-off, especially if it was the same price point, because there was physically less plastic in the box. But that's personal, isn't it? That's value. But I think this is an option. Another option would be Gene Stealers. So Gene Stealers are kind of the archetypical thing. If you think of Space Hulk, and if you think of spaceship combat, Gene Stealers could be an interesting opposing force to the Karskin, again, on that Rogue Trader type terrain, or the arena terrain, you know. And the Gene Stealers versus the Karskin would be really cool. It would give the Karskin at least, yeah. I feel like the corridor box would give you an excuse to take the flamethrower. I think maybe if I was writing it, there'd be some rules in the corridor in that Killzone set where you'd make flamethrowers have a longer range down a narrow corridor. I think that would be really cool as an idea. I could see that working. The rumour engine, when they're holding out the Auspex and looking at the blips on the Auspex screen, gives you kind of alien vibes of the humans fighting the Genestealers, and the humans would outnumber the Genestealers, but the Genestealers, if they actually got into close combat, would be able to rip the humans to shreds really easily, and it'd be I could see that really working as a really thematic game. Genestealers have loads of little bits on their sprue that don't currently have rules, because you've got like the feeder tendrils, and the acid maw has rules, but you've got the feeder tendrils, you've got the extra extended carapace bits, you've got loads of little extra bits that could all be given rules for Genestealers. Now, does that actually count against them when it comes to being featured in a box? And could people more likely see Genestealers coming as a White Dwarf team, which could have rules for all those little bits? I'm not sure about that. You know, it would be great if they brought out the box with the terrain in and the rules for fighting in a ship, and then that month they brought out the Genestealer kill team rules in a White Dwarf. That might be a really good way of going about it as well. I have one more option though. What about Necrons? What if Auspec's tactics was slightly wrong when he speculated? Because all he saw was black bases, and then he said that, oh, like a spaceship hull. But you know who love black floor? You know who are all about that kind of shiny black aesthetic? It's the Necrons. What if we're getting a kill team set that was once again set inside a Necron tomb world, just like Necron Pariah Nexus, the kill team box that everybody disliked. And the reason everybody disliked it was because it came out right at the end of Kill Team, when the game was kind of dying, and it felt more than any other box like an excuse to release models that were waiting to come out for 40k. 40k players resented it because they really wanted their heavy intercessors and their flayed ones, and they paywalled behind this box. And Kill Team players disliked it because they felt like they weren't properly getting supported. They were just being used as an excuse to get things out. So collectively, I think we've had a bit of collective amnesia about the fact that this terrain exists. I've never bought Pariah Nexus. It was the one Kill Team 18 box that I didn't bother with. That's how kind of badly reviewed that it was. And I bought everything else, including Arena, the Rogue Trader box, you know, all the other things that they brought out for Kill Team 18, but I never bought Pariah Nexus. But maybe they could recycle that terrain and have Karskin versus Necrons, you know, raiding a tomb world. Now, I really like the idea of using the Necron box, because the Necrons Warriors has the Scarab Swarm right in there, so it'd make a really good thing to drop into a box, because you've already got Necrons with 2 different types of gun, and the Canoptex Scarabs, who would scuttle around, and they'd be the first things to be awake on the tomb anyway, and then maybe they could even have some kind of rule where, you know, you get to have loads of Necrons, and maybe in the scenarios the Scarabs are going around and they're waking up the Necrons as time progresses, and the Karskin. I mean, this would be for the Spec Ops campaign in the book, right? But you could see a kind of thing where the Karskin are trying to get deeper into the tomb, and the Scarabs are wibbling about, and then if the Scarabs spot them, kind of like the Sentries rules we've been talking about in Morok, and then they can wake up the Necron Warriors, and they're coming out of their suspended animation. That will be a really cool kind of thing. Obviously, in matched play, it would be a more straightforward team, but still having the Scarabs in there would give them some texture, and then we could drop an upgrade sprue in there to let you turn your warriors to have like a warrior that was, you know, had some kind of different weapon, maybe have a version of the Deathmark sniper rifle for a warrior, like a Deathmarky type head, you know, have some more specialists that you put in there. I think that could be really kind of cool. So maybe we're going to get like a Tomb World themed box. Right, I want to talk about something else slightly differently before I end the video. We're going to talk about fire teams, and the reason we're going to talk about fire teams is because of the kind of elephant in the room that we have, where we're now seeing for the second time probably Games Workshop going back and double dipping and doing a second kill team for a 40k race that's already had a kill team. So what I want to do is go through this list, and let's just think what we've already had kill teams for, so that we know that the infiltrators are getting a kill team in Morocco, so it can cross those off. Okay, and let's think. So we can't cross anything off else for Space Marines. We can't cross anything off for Grey Knights. We can't cross anything off for Custodes or Sisters of Silence, no. The Sisters have a kill team, but it doesn't represent any of the fire teams that came for them in the compendium. The Hunter Clade does represent all 3 of the Admech fire teams, I believe, in a mixture, right? And if we say that the Guardsmen are represented by the Krieg, and the Scions are represented by the Karskins that I'm telling you about in this video, of course, I might be totally wrong and they're not coming for kill team, but let's assume that they are. And the Traitor Marines are represented by the Legionaries, and the Chaos Cultists are represented by the Bloodied. And then we can't take off anything for Death Guard yet. The Rubric Marines White Dwarf list allows you to take both Rubric Marines and Zangors, so you can cross both of those off. We can't cross anything off for Demons yet, and Eldar, much like the Sisters, even though they've had a bespoke team, we can't really cross off any of their fire teams yet either, because their bespoke team is something totally new. Cabalites and Witches we can't cross off. Troops we can cross off straightforwardly. Orcs have 3 fire teams in the book, one of which is Commandos, so we'll cross off the Commandos. Necrons haven't had anything yet. The Tau we can cross off Pathfinders. Okay. Tyranids, nothing yet, and for the Genestealer Cult we can cross off the Neophyte Hybrids and the Acolyte Hybrids and leave the Hybrid Metamorphs. So, listen, I am not saying that everything on this list is going to get a bespoke team, but I think we need to alter our thinking when we're thinking around predictions and rumours. You know, that maybe some of these make perfect sense. Like, I can totally see them going, okay, we've done the Infiltrator team, but let's do an Intercessor team, and let's do a Deathwatch Veterans team. I can see a separate Sisters of Silence team, maybe not a Custodes team, but I can see a Sisters of Silence team. I can see Cabalites and Witches being 2 different teams. I think Death Guard and Poxwalkers are going to be combined in the same way that Rubric Marines and Zangors were. I could see a Stealth Battlesuit team coming out. I don't think that some of them aren't going to get a team. I don't think Arco-Flagellants are going to get their own team. I could see a Sisters of Battle White Dwarf team coming out that lets you play the Power Armoured Girls, though. You know, so I think we need to stop thinking about, I need to stop thinking about it in a case of ticking off the ones that have 40k releases. Because Games Workshop have shown that they're quite happy to go back and revisit fire teams that they think have relevant IP, even though maybe that 40k race has already had a team. So it's something to think about. It does mean that you might be waiting, you know, if you really want your crew or your demons or your Custodes for kill team to get bespoke rules, because that's what you love. You know, when you weren't playing Custodes because they were top of the meta, you were playing Custodes, that's what you play in 40k, and you love the Golden Boys, and you just want them to get, you know, some tactical objectives. You might be waiting a bit longer if they're going to look at a big list like this and think, oh, what are we going to put in the next box? It's just something to think about. So to final thoughts, sum up, which of the potential box sets do you think is more likely? Do you think it's going to be the Galapox? If you enjoy me rumouring about Galapox Infected, by the way, subscribe to the channel, because I'm sure to rumour about Galapox Infected another 10 times and they'll never come out. But is it going to be the Galapox Infected? Is it going to be Squats? Is it going to be Tyranids? Is it going to be Necrons? Which of those things is more likely, if any, or have you got your own pick? And which do you actually want? For myself, I think the one I want the most is actually the Necrons. First of all, because I think Necrons are cool. If it was Stormtroopers versus Necrons, those teams would both be me. Mrs. T, I wouldn't want either of them. I get both of them. And I never bought Pariah Nexus, so I'd be getting terrain that I didn't already have. Whereas if they reuse the Rogue Traders array, which I think is likely, that is stuff I have, so I will be looking to get to sell that on eBay or to flip it or do something else with it. So I personally want to see the Stormtroopers versus Necrons box, and because the bases were described by Auspex as being pure black, I kind of think that's the most likely one as well, but maybe that's a reach. I think to sum up, I think Tomb Worlds, you know, Karskin investigating a Necron Tomb World is my pick. for the next box after Morocco. Yeah, I think that seems potentially likely. What fire teams would you like to see become full-fledged kill teams? I think there are some low-hanging fruit like Deathwatch and Intercessors. Witches and Cabalite Warriors getting 2 separate teams might be interesting. So I think I would love to hear from you what fire teams that you would like to see get that upgrade into being a full kill team. Some channel news: the sound issues should be fixed. I think I have battled Windows to the point where it's no longer going to arbitrarily raise and lower the volume of each slide. I think I've fiddled with the settings enough so that I should sound louder and clearer, although in my testing I did think I could notice a little bit of an echo. If you watched my video the other day where I did some face stuff, and you could see in the background I've got a wall of glass IKEA cabinets behind me with all our Warhammer stuff in, myself and Mrs. TI, and so there's going to be a degree to which that is affecting the sound quality. I'm not going to destroy my hobby room by hanging up loads of sound deadening foam. That's just not going to happen. So there's that. But if there's anything else that I can do, if anyone's got any recommendations, if anyone has anything that's driving them insane, I do want to up the quality of the channel. I do want to consistently improve the production quality. I am thinking of doing a live stream soon, so I've been able to borrow on a sort of indefinite basis, but just bring it back if it's needed, a DSLR camera. So I've got a Canon, it's quite an old one, it's a Canon EOS 1100, but that can be used as a webcam with a little utility that Canon put out for free. So I'm just waiting for a sort of stand to come that I've ordered off Amazon, and I'm hoping I can suspend that above my hobby desk and maybe do some hobby streaming, maybe as early as tonight if the thing arrives from Amazon, if I can fiddle with the settings, as a little test stream. So keep an eye out for that. If we do a test stream, I will probably build a Pathfinder squad with all the upgrades on stream, if that's interesting to anybody. We'll see how that goes. It's just another opportunity. I don't think I have it in me to do the kind of streams that Glass does or that Valorant does, where it's just me wobbling into the camera and reacting to chat, or I don't think anybody wants to come into my tiny YouTube channel and be interviewed, but it's potentially for the future as well. If you've got any ideas of where the channel should go in the future, or should I just stick to the content that I have already been doing? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I've rambled for long enough self-indulgently about channel stuff. If you like the video, then like it. If you want to hear more of this, then subscribe. And please do answer those questions I posed. What do you think is the most likely box set? Which one do you want it to be? Different questions. And which fire teams would you like to see become full-fledged kill teams? Okay, that's it from me today, probably, unless I come back later this evening. I hope you have a really great day, whatever it is you're going to be doing on this glorious sunny Saturday, at least here in the UK. Cheery bye.